that, Kevin.
Oh, yes, it is. Yes, it is. This is just a tremendous effort by Buckley. He's caught here. He's loose. He's caught there. He's loose. Now the ball is loose. And now it's back. And he's down the sidelines. If he doesn't drop that ball, he may have gone all the way. But that's a special teams play. And that's something that State needed.
Peter Tom Willis from his own 49. Thrown for his running back Dexter Carter, sliding out of the backfield, incomplete. Well, Peter Tom Willis last week 25 for 40, 269 yards, and he said after the ball game, he said, I hate like the Dickens that we lost, but I'd be lying if I didn't say I had fun out there today. I felt as though I learned something. Overthrown. Roberts, his tight end, the intended receiver, and he got turned around at the 30-yard line. Arlington Nutt was out there covering for the Clemson Tigers. Willis, by the way, 0 of 3 tonight. Remember, he did have the one completion of 53 yards to the little speedster, Shannon Baker, but that one was erased because of a holding penalty.
Clemson is playing a zone, and they're playing a deep zone, and Peter Tom threw it into the zone that time. That pass could have been completed short.
Good protection. Now it breaks down under the rush of Levon Kirkland, and he will be sacked back inside the 40-yard line. Loss of 13.
Number 12, John Johnson, is the bandit. The best athlete on the defense plays the bandit position. Has to be a defensive back and also a pass rusher. He's the guy that forced him out of the pocket. And here comes Kirkland to wrap him up. First sack of the year against Florida State.
Charlie Ward, and only a great athlete, could have pulled down that snap from center. This is Lott at the 26. Heavy pressure again, and he's going to be knocked down by Grady Ross. That is super coverage by the Seminoles. Only 35 on the punt, but a -5 on the return. So let's take a break. Just beyond midway of the opening period. So far, it's the fake the reverse. Joe Henderson turns the corner, takes it across the 25, and now a late marker has been thrown at the 20. It Kev, from where it was thrown, and Haggins got caught from behind. Yep, clipping it. He's going to be called against the Tigers. Good strong lobby by Haggins on that play. And you get a good look at Calvin Smith. Injured his shoulder in preseason warm-ups. They were not even having a contact drill.
On Clemson, still be first down.
Y'all remember Deion Sanders. This is not Deion Sanders. This is a 6'4", 221-pound cornerback who is replacing Deion, named Corian Freeman. Too big, in my opinion, to play cornerback. Without Deion, they have to play more zone. Deion used to play that wide side of the field and play man-to-man. Now Corian's out there.
Mickey Andrews says he'd rather have him at safety. He's so big. Draw play. Has 5, has 10, and Henderson rambles all the way out to the 25-yard line before Leroy Butler corrals him, and it's a gain of 13 yards.
Butler is the best athlete in the secondary, and it's a good thing they had him back there because he makes the play. Now, Clemson is a true option team. They will not throw in a situation like that. You can see Butler comes from all the way across the formation to make the tackle on Joe Henderson.
At 73 yards last week in the opener. Morocco pitches it to Henderson, has to wait to gather it. It's going to be caught shy of the first down. As Kirk Carruthers comes up, number 45, along with Howard Dinkins, to make the stop for Florida State. You know, we have called Carruthers' name several times tonight. I mentioned Calvin Smith just a moment ago. They play the same spot. They got to find a place for both of those guys on the field at the same time.
Well, they have excellent linebackers on this team, but they've had injuries throughout fall practice, and a lot of people got opportunities.
Well, he has them both in the ball game right now. Straight ahead on the carry, McFadden, and he bolts across the 30-yard line, and from where they have spotted, it would appear it is a Clemson first down. Yes.
Here's a look at Deion Sanders and what he meant to the pass defense at Florida State. 131 yards per game last year. His personality is missing. Maybe that's not so bad. Deion could back up all his boasts. I'll get back to this. It's important, and we'll talk about it later.
Morocco under pressure. Dumps it off for the middle. Has it to Terry Allen. And he goes down immediately as Carruthers is right there at the 36.
Deion Sanders was a special type of player for Florida State. Reason being, he was a braggart a little bit, and he did boast, but he backed it up. He could run a 4-2, and he would make up for a lot of his mistakes. Some of the players on Florida State began to get that way. Bobby Bowden would tell him, don't be like Deion, please, because you guys may not be able to back it up. The fact that he's gone, you miss a great athlete. His personality maybe didn't do so well for this team.
Morocco comes out from under center. He had the two tight end alignment, and he calls a timeout to go to the sideline to talk with Tommy Ford. Danny Ford. So we'll hold it right here with 4:05 left in this opening period. Be sure to be with ESPN tomorrow morning at 11:30 for the season premiere of NFL Game Day. Chris Berman and our Emmy Award-winning crew as they preview opening day in the National Football League. Then at 7:15, back to tell you who won and lost and why on NFL Primetime, where you'll see the highlights of every game played that day. And on the Game Day show tomorrow, some really great ones. Joe Theismann in a one-on-one with Lawrence Taylor. And also, we spent the week with Jimmy Johnson as he prepares down in Cajun country.
I spent a few weeks with Jimmy Johnson last year.
Tim Crumry and his comeback. Those are the stories that they'll be talking on tomorrow.
Clemson has used 2 timeouts so far, and I think that's a factor of using 2 quarterbacks in your team. They're instructed if they have any indecision, especially with an option offense, to call timeouts. So you see Clemson using them. You don't really need them if you don't have a passing game, a sophisticated passing game, and a 2-minute offense at the end of the half. You use them more intelligently early.
Second down. They need the 41. Close to the first down is Terry Allen, but I don't think he's going to have it as Shelton Thompson, I beg your pardon, the senior out of Lakeland, Florida, comes across to make the stop. They're going to mark it down at the 40-yard line, in fact, just across.
Could almost set your watch by Danny Ford. He normally will not pass the ball until he gets to his own 40-yard line in a close game. It's just over the 40, but I think this is a dive play.
Allen, left side, has the first down. Being pushed back by Howard Dinkins, but forward progress will have him out around the 42.
Difference in this game is at the line of scrimmage so far. Clemson is controlling everything. Here you see the yellow hats here, and they're just plowing into these guys. And you got the thing about Allen is he's a tackle breaker, he's a power back, yet he's only 200 pounds. He picks up the first down.
Some of the 7,500 that have journeyed just over 7 hours by car to the Tallahassee area from Clemson, South Carolina. And their ball club leading 7-0. Just over 3 minutes left in this opening period. And Morocco has just called the 3rd timeout for Clemson in this opening quarter. What's he seeing, Kev?
Well, remember, this is an option team and a part-time quarterback, and you saw the coach pat him on the behind as he went over there saying that's okay. When you run an option, you usually count the defense. and you'll run normally to the weak side of the defense. If you have a problem, the one thing you don't want to do when you're pitching the ball, you got to make sure your tailback's going to be there to catch the pitch. So if you have any question about what's strong, what's weak, or what you're going to do, you call timeout, especially with field position like this.
So with the timeout, let's go back to Bob Carpenter.
All right, Ron Franklin, thank you very much. Back to Tallahassee in just a few moments. But first of all, we want to check in with the Pac-10. Some action out west this evening with California. The Bears on the road against the Ducks of Oregon. And Oregon quarterback Bill Musgrave, a 3-yard touchdown pass to Jeff Thomason. Back and forth we go. It's Oregon 18, California 13 in the second quarter out west. And now back to Tallahassee.
18-13, good ball game out there in the Pac-10. We got a great one here, 7-0. Clemson and Florida State, just under 3 minutes left in this opening period. Allen to throw the halfback option, and it's overthrown, incomplete. Gary Cooper, the intended receiver. Florida State had a couple of guys in the vicinity, but not close enough, and had been on the money.
I'd say I've watched Clemson for years. This is classic Danny Ford. Here's Cooper. He's the flyer. You may even forget you have him on his team. He's a great athlete, but he rarely gets a chance to catch a pass. It's a first down pass. The ball was on the 42-yard line. But remember, it's a tailback throwing it. Here's Allen in his first game. I'll tell you, when Clemson gets to the 40, that's a helicopter there. When Clemson gets to the 40, start thinking pass.
That went for a touchdown against them last year. Option play to the left. Morocco will hold on to it. 47, Kevin Grant, one of the first men to get outside, along with Haynes.
Florida State would like the quarterback to carry the ball. He's the least damaging. The fullback at the point of attack can break a big one. The tailback is Terry Allen. They want this man, Morocco or Deshaun Cameron, if he's in the game, to carry the ball. And Danny Ford, of course, would like it to have it a different way.
Morocco to throw on 3rd and 7. Back over the middle, has it to his tight end Fields, and he has the first down and more inside the 40-yard line.
Florida State's going to roll it up to the wide side, and they're going to go back to the short side. Here goes Fields. He had 4 catches last week. Now, you have to understand, all the flow is going the other way. He throws it right in front of Butler, who's playing a zone, but he doesn't have any help underneath, and they complete the pass. A good play call for Clemson.
Stacy Fields, a scholar athlete. Look at total yards so far. Pitch to Allen, tripped up and knocked down as Henderson, I beg your pardon, number 33, the ball carrier. And it's Keith Carter who comes knifing through, the senior out of Miami, to knock him down just outside the 40-yard line. Gary Cooper comes back into the ball game for the Clemson Tigers. Junior Hall sets up in the backfield along with Joe Henderson. Draw. Look in pass, has it complete. Fletcher, and he may score. Caught from behind, knocked out at the 4.
When a team runs as well as Clemson does early in the game, this is murder. Play action, tremendous execution. You're looking at it from the defensive secondary. Fletcher just makes a quick hook. Butler again caught man-to-man coverage, and he blows it completely. And now it's a foot race. So they don't normally lose.
Dodge is the man who came up and caught him from behind. It is 1st and goal, Clemson Tigers. McFadden to the 2. Keith Carter came across, Kevin, to make the tackle, but he was just high-stepping and heading for the end zone.
You know, McFadden is an interesting guy. He was a tailback that gained 6,500 yards in high school. Came as a tailback, but they had Terry Allen. They moved him to fullback, and Danny Ford says flat out, I love the guy. He's one of the great players we've ever had.
the one, maybe inside the one. Corian Freeman, a big 6'4" cornerback, comes up to force the play. And that is the end of the first quarter. So let's take a break. Clemson 7, Florida State nothing, and threatening.
Third down.
Allen, touchdown. Now with a second touchdown, 29 yards on 10 carries, as Gardocki attempts to put Clemson up 14-0.
Clemson is winning this game at the line of scrimmage. They're doing all that they need to do. You got to get this to the center and the two guards, and then Allen, a very tough guy for a tailback. Phillips, Jeff Fletch at left guard, and Eric Harmon at right guard. Tremendous job. Okay, watch from behind. See how they just cut him down? They get it nice and low. And Allen, there's not even a linebacker in sight. He's up over the top for a touchdown. His second touchdown. Very similar plays.
So for the Clemson Tigers, they dominated the first 15 minutes and now the first 3 seconds of this second quarter. And the storyline in this one, before a capacity house in Tallahassee, number 10 against number 16, has been total offense by the Clemson Tigers. 149 yards to only -16 for Florida State. Take a look at Morocco. 5 of 6. Peter Tom Willis looking for his first completion.
I think the biggest play was the kickoff return, the opening kickoff return, exactly what happened last week. It allowed Clemson to open up their offense early, and they are very conservative, but not around the middle of the field. It just put the defense of Florida State on their heels, and they've never been able to recover.
Bobby Bauch has not been 0-2 since his first year here at Florida State. Kubel with the kickoff. This is going to come down at the 10-yard line. Dawson tosses the 30 and out to the 31-yard line. Wayne Simmons, a freshman out of Hilton Head, South Carolina, on the special teams, making the tackle. And now Florida State has got to get something going. 14 plays, 80 yards, almost 7 minutes of the drive. And the Seminoles look for some continuity. Willis, we told you, 0 for 3 in the first quarter. Also was sacked once. They go running play to Chris Parker off the left side up near the 35-yard line. Yeah, this surprises me a little bit in the fact that the roles have flip-flopped in the early going of this ballgame. Florida State has run the ball more than I thought they would. Clemson certainly has thrown the ball more.
Clemson, I think when you said Peter Tom was 0-3, Clemson is playing the pass very well. In order to loosen them up, you have to just hit them in the inside of their defense, and that's why Chris Parker's running. He's a bigger back than Dexter Carter.
Willis up in the pocket, delivers incomplete. Reggie Johnson, the tight end, and a marker is down, and it appears pass interference will be called against the Tigers.
Reggie Johnson is about 250 pounds and runs a 4.5. Now, he's covered. Peter Tom shouldn't have thrown this thing. And I really don't know where the penalty is there. That's a tough call on Clemson. Now, Peter Tom, that's a bad decision by Peter Tom. That's double coverage. They had him bracketed. Maybe should have gone somewhere else.
To yards and 1 touchdown last week against Southern Mississippi. This one is good for 19 yards.
And this is a nice throw, Dawsey here. Now you see Dexter Davis, he loses sight of where he is for an instant, and Peter Tom just rifles that thing in the area of Dawsey with pressure. This thing, that slow-mo, that thing was rifled right over the head of Davis.
Kevin, if he had thrown it in the real catching zone, I think it would have been knocked down. He threw it high, which was perfect. Draw play to Parker. Right side, muscles his way down in the vicinity of the 29-yard line. LaVon Kirkland defensively, and now a marker comes down deep in the secondary. Well, you could see the expression on number 80, Reggie Johnson's face. That would tell you it is against Florida State. Nope. Offsetting.
Comes Lassane across the middle, and watch Dexter Davis, number 9. I don't know, that's a no call as far as I'm concerned. That looked like WBF wrestling or something, and not a very good match. That's a tough call. That's another tough call on Clemson. That's 2.
I think the officials just trying to get both of their attention, saying next time we're going to get somebody. Willis delivers, intercepted up the near sideline of Simmons, and he will score. 73 yards. He has just picked off a pass and gone 73 yards for a touchdown, and Clemson has stunned this partisan house here in Tallahassee early. They are up 20-0. Gardaki's kick is good.
We talked about the bandit position. This is the bandit position. He's the backup bandit, Wayne Simmons, all over the receiver, and what a reaction by a backup player, just a freshman. If John Johnson is the head bandit, Butch Cassidy, this is the Sundance Kid. Tremendous play by Simmons, not much drop off. They say he's going to be a great one. The picture tells the story. Watch the reaction by number 49. This is supposed to be a safe play. He sees the ball, and look at the acceleration. Tremendous coverage, tremendous acceleration, and a touchdown.
It is the longest interception return for a touchdown ever by a Clemson Tiger. Absolutely wonderful. 21-0.
Who's been walking on their face there?
Nobody so far.
Yeah, right.
Dawsey will return it from the end zone. Wayne Harps, you could hear the contact all the way up here, was the first man down of the special teams at Florida State. Will scrimmage from inside their own 15-yard line.
I'll tell you, this is the home of the Ruski. We ought to see a Ruski here pretty soon because nothing else is working.
Peter Tom Willis last week, 25 of 40, 269 yards, and a touchdown. And tonight, so far, the rhythms have not been there. Draw play to Moore. Out over the 30, still on his feet, and he'll take it to the 24.
He ran over Dexter Davis. See, no, it wasn't Dexter Davis. James Lott, who was known as a big hitter. He was on the short end of a big hit there, number 5.
And it's Dexter Davis who was signaling to the sideline. Trainers come over that James Lott is injured. Ron Franklin and Kevin Kiley in Tallahassee, Florida. The meeting between number 16 and number 10. Florida State, the 16th ranked club, and Clemson, the number 10 ranked club, and the Tigers have come in here thinking this is their backyard. Quite frankly, other than bowl games, they've had a tough time playing in the state of Florida.
Yeah, but not Danny Ford. He's been 5-0 down here in bowl games.
Robert O'Neill, who's a freshman, comes in replacing James Lott at free safety.
They'll test him.
Running play again. This time it's Chris Parker. Ed McDaniel defensively for the Tigers. Auburn now 35-0. They're only at halftime. Southern Mississippi. Hey, Mississippi State had a big win over Vandy last week. That's a good matchup.
Yeah, that is. Number 18 they moved up to after beating Florida State.
Oklahoma State has gone in front of Tulsa by 3 points. That one at halftime. And a timeout has been called by Florida State as Peter Tom Willis comes trotting over to the sideline, and he wants to talk it over with his offensive coordinator. So let's take a break. 21-0 our score. Lots of time left in this first half. On the far sideline, and they are attending to his shoulder. We'll get you a further update. Pass caught by Terry Anthony. Tries to break off the tackle, and Dexter Davis finally holds him long enough and gets some help from a lot of friends. That's good for 12 yards, though. Dexter grabbed a hole. Just couldn't get him down, and it was hollered to help. Somebody give me some help.
That's the job of a corner, is to grab a hole, and it's the job of everybody else to get over there and help him out.
Draw play. Parker out over the 45 and is out to the 47-yard line. John Johnson is the man who corralled him.
Seminoles passed to set up the run. They had a complete pass on the last down. Now this is man-to-man coverage on the outside. They just slip it to the back. Chris Parker's big enough and quick enough and starts pushing people around in there. Now, don't be mistaken by the score. Florida State is very potent offensively, and when they get rolling, they'll score some points.
Straight ahead is Moore. He'll have the first down. Moore's a load at 6'1", 245 pounds, and he takes it across midfield. He's only a sophomore out of Miami. Hammond and Brewster combined to make the stop. By the way, the last interception returned for a touchdown against Florida State, 1987. It was the third game against Memphis State. Mike Nettles for 41 yards. This one here tonight, those 73 yards, which goes in the Clemson record books as far as the longest ever by a Clemson linebacker by Simmons. Willis near sideline. Anthony, and incomplete. Terry Anthony, the intended receiver. We mentioned the injury to James Lott and the fact that Robert O'Neill, only a freshman, had taken his place. Well, he's a true freshman out of Clarkston, Georgia. If you want to know more about him, a second-team USA Today All-American, which says a lot about his credentials coming out of high school. However, Clarkston had never played before over 60,000 people as he's playing in front of tonight.
Yeah, these two programs, there's a few high school All-Americans out there. If you want to meet other high school All-Americans, come to one of these schools.
21-0. Clemson leads with just under 10 minutes until halftime. Draw play, it's Moore, tries to get outside in the left, and that's a good job defensively by number 92, Doug Brewster.
They will not have any success running laterally. What Moore needs to do at 245 pounds is run into the line. You don't want to run, don't run parallel. Watch what happens here to Moore. Nothing inside, and then he does this. No, don't do that. Here they come, boy. Here they come. Like mosquitoes on a hot summer night, boy.
Danny Ford sat down on the field as his team worked out last night, loosened up rather, and talked about how very fast Florida State was, and faster than Clemson.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, looking at tonight, I'm not sure about buying that. Dave Roberts, the tight end, jumps across as Willis was giving some kind of hand signals to his wide receivers.
Start. Florida State, still third down.
One thing that really hurts Florida State is you look at Bobby Bowden. They love to run trick plays, but trick plays work best when your base offense is working. And Florida State has not established the base offense yet.
Well, for you Clemson backers, we are happy to report that James Lott apparently is okay and is back in the secondary at free safety.
He has his shirt on backwards, though.
Willis looking for 17. Gets his pass away, and it is caught. Oh, what a grab by Lassane. And they're going to say he caught it out of bounds. And I think you're going to see the argument by Florida State may be correct. Kid, he looked like he was in bounds and was knocked out of bounds.
Well, it depends on whether the official thinks his momentum would have taken him out of bounds. Now, from here, and we're on the other side of the field, it looked to me like he was carried out of bounds. There's no question. It's a brave throw, if not a smart one, by Peter Tom, and
that's a completed pass.
To me, I agree. That's a completed pass.
He's 2 yards in bounds at least. Charlie Ward to get away the punt.
Ward is capable of anything in punt formation.
Dexter Davis is the deep man. Going to let it bounce, and this one is rolling inside the 5, and the Seminoles will kill it at the 1.5. You know, Bobby Bowden has said there's been a role reversal with his football program, and Odell Hagens explains exactly how.
Last week, we realized that we can't step on the field and just beat people. We got to go out and perform and play as a team to beat other people, opponents. And now we're at a stage that everybody is like shooting at us to beat us. It's not like we're like shooting at Nebraska or something like Oklahoma. People shoot at Florida State to beat them now.
I think that's a legacy of Deion Sanders, what he said. We can't just step on the field and beat people. Deion was able to do that. He had that great ability, but what he left behind maybe was the thought that the others could do it too, and they can't.
Pitch back goes to Henderson. Has 5, has 10, and he breaks it out of the 25, and Leroy Butler pushing him out of bounds at the 28-yard line. When you bring the defense up tight, that's exactly what happens when you break that first play.
That should never happen to a team that has the defense that Florida State does, the athletes that they have. It should not happen. If this is not Leroy Butler on the outside, Henderson is gone. Tremendous blocking by the Clemson front line, you see, and now Henderson's in the clear. Butler's the fastest player in the secondary, runs a 4.38, and if not for him, it's another big touchdown.
You can see number 3, Leon Fowler, a freshman, came up and got caught in traffic. Freshman mistake, huh?
Yeah, well, you got to be careful down on the end line. You know they're going to run. Don't get too tight, as you said.
Morocco to throw. Up into the pocket, gets by 1 tackler, and he'll go down in his own across the 32-yard line. Calvin Smith was in the vicinity, but Morocco just wanted to get to the ground before he got his head handed to him.
Calvin Smith makes the defensive play for the Seminoles.
Morocco last week 8 of 14 for 99 yards. And you see in rushes what he has accomplished. Just over 4 yards. He's 5 of 6 throwing tonight for 89. Pitch to Allen. Breaks by 1 tackler and is out to the 38-yard line and very close to a Clemson first down. Bill Reagan, strong safety, is the man who got a hand up.
Offensive line of Clemson meeting very little resistance. Look how quickly they get off the ball, how much space they create. And how about this hole for Allen? Missed tackle. Anytime you see a lot of green, when a team is on offense, the offensive line is doing the job. They create space and they did a nice job of it there.
If the guy he put the move on was 36, Kelvin Allen, who's an awfully good one for the Seminoles. Allen in the deep draw. Going to be knocked down at the 39. That'll be a gain of 1. It was Oliver Strickland, big number 98, who reaches up and grabs a hole. Oliver is a redshirt freshman.
Clemson is one of the classic percentage teams you'll ever see in college football. They play percentage defense. They'll play prevent when they get ahead, and you'll see a lot of that in the second half. And their offense is almost exactly the same way. They'll sit on the ball, and they won't take a chance of turning over the ball and giving up an easy score.
21-0. Tigers on top. 6.5 minutes left until the halftime. Morocco gonna keep it, and he will bring it out across the 43 to the 44. And it looked for the world as though he was dead in the water, and they'd be looking at 3rd down and 10. As it is, it's only going to be 3rd down and 5.
Morocco's an interesting story. He's a quarterback that left camp for Clemson early in his career. Let's take a look at the passing, 5 for 6 passing from inside his own 40. That's outside his 40. 40-yard line out, and he has not attempted a pass inside his own 40, back up to his own goal line.
Morocco gonna be knocked down for a loss, and I think he was trying to throw a shuttle pass, wasn't it?
Or he was just coming out here to run the ball. Remember, they ran a quarterback draw on the last play. They'll do a lot of things that look like pass, but they will not take a chance.
Junior Hall was cutting in front of him, though, and as he squared his shoulders back toward the line of scrimmage, it appeared that's what he was going to do. And it's going to be 4th down. One kick for 49 yards so far tonight for Gardaki. Buckley, the deep man for Florida State. Kicks it away from Buckley. Doesn't get good distance, but it'll go out of bounds at the 26-yard line. So let's take a break. 5:05 left until halftime. 21-0 Tigers.
Clemson tight end Stacy Field.
Stacy is an engineering major and a 3.1 grade point average. Last year made the All-ACC All-Academic team. There he is in the sideline. Seminoles from their own 26. Willis, play action, gonna go long for Anthony, and it's incomplete. Dexter Davis had him covered like a blanket, and in fact it was Davis who had a better shot at the football than did Terry Anthony.
It's a classic example of what I was talking about earlier about Clemson, how they'll play percentage defense. Look at them backing up. Back. They're going to cover that deep pass. Peter Tom, he has some room underneath, but he's going to go for the long one. As Ron said, Clemson in better position to make that play than Florida State. Now, they're going to give up the short one with less than 5 minutes to go in the half, but they're not giving up any long passes.
Number 1, Shannon Baker, comes into the lineup for Florida State. We saw him on that one earlier play back in the first quarter, and they threw it up to him. And now Peter Tom Willis wants another timeout. So that's 2 for Florida State in the half. And let's take a break. 21-0. The Tigers on top of the Seminoles. We'll be right back.
Fat chance. Finding a
College football Saturday. Ron Franklin and Kevin Kylan. Tallahassee, Florida. There you see the verdict is not out, but it's not good right now for the home team. Willis has it complete to Dawsey, brings it up the sideline to the 45-yard line. 19 yards, and Kev, one of the things that we talked about a couple of timeouts ago, you just said of all the teams in America that you can't go to sleep on regardless of how big your lead is this ball club in gold helmets.
Classic example of what they can do. Peter Tom with a strong arm, and this is what Clemson has given him. The question here is, why doesn't Dawsey go out of bounds? I know you get timeout for a first down, but you would think he'd have just turned that. He was dead. He should have just turned it out of bounds.
Willis, other side of the field, has it complete to Dawsey again. His 3rd catch of the night. Fights off the tackle, and he'll go down at the 38 of Clemson. That's Dexter Davis who makes the tackle. Mississippi State has gone in front of the Golden Eagles.
Has to be a letdown after the big win last week. Has to be.
Second period, that one in Lubbock tonight. No score. Northwestern trailing Duke.
The Dukies, they can score on anybody.
And Terry Bowden, his ball club Sanford, is down 21-7. I hope you got to see the feature story on game day today of the Bowden family. It's really interesting, the four sons. On the 38, Willis, they have run a guard eligible on a trick play inside the 20. It's Hayward Haynes. And who said the Ruski is dead? Inside the 20 down to the 17-yard line. 21 yards on the play. And Coach Ford coming down saying to his defense, be calm.
Yeah, settle down. Well, you knew it was coming, you just didn't know where it was coming from. That guy, I'll tell you, they fool our camera people, and I'll tell you it's honest truth, he fooled me too. I was going to say Peter Tom got tackled with the ball.
That's Florida State's longest run tonight by Haynes.
That's as it should be. The guard should be the leading rusher. Look out.
Setting up the screen. Complete to Bennett at the 15, down to the 10-yard line.
Show you what we picked up on the Ruski. This was the camera Ruski too. Watch the center and the guard. They're going to lay the ball on the ground. Hey, they're hiding the ball, and you see it's behind the center. And you see Haywood, he gets up and he heads stage right. Is that stage right? Oh, that's stage left. Yeah.
That's stage left. Peter Tom, 5 of 12, 1 interception. Pressure is on. Gets it away, and he just throws it away. Edgar Bennett, the closest man to it. But one of the reasons for his lack of success tonight is Bodine was on him. He's either had somebody on his body or hands in his face on almost every play.
Bodine, just a little guy at the nose guard, and what Danny Ford says, he finds a way to get it. That's a perfect nose guard move, a spin move. 235-pounder is loose playing linebacker now, and whoop, a little bit there, a little left jab.
3:16 left until halftime. Clemson 21 at Florida State with a third down.
Tight end was open last play, Ron.
Straight ahead with a running play inside the 5 and down to the 4 is Dexter Carter. John Johnson saved a touchdown.
Great call. They picked up the first down on that too. You get the feeling these people don't care if they win. They just want to see some kind of Ruski here.
No, I know they care.
Yeah, I know
about winning.
I know they do too. But I know they love their Ruskis.
Willis on the reverse out, throws it, almost intercepted. As Reggie Johnson, the intended receiver, and look at the number of white jerseys. You think Clemson hasn't been well schooled.
He was in if he ran it on this one, Ron. He was wide open. He had tight end in his mind, but all he has to do is turn it on right there. Here's the coverage. It's not a good throw. There was inside coverage too, but had he turned this thing on, he was into the end zone.
Bowden paces, his ball club trailing, 21-0. Peter Tom Willis, 5 of 14, 1 interception for 70 yards. In the end zone, incomplete, looking for Dave Roberts, and the marker comes in. Pass interference is going to be called.
Yeah, but when you watch Dave Roberts on this play, what you're going to see is first offensive interference and then maybe defensive interference. Roberts is the one that makes contact.
Well, let's see. That may be who the call is against.
Pass interference. Clemson on the 2-yard line. First down.
Watch 83, Dave Roberts, 238 pounds. He's going to slip the block and watch him make contact. Boom. That's kind of half and half, but then it's holding. It's holding. Good call. Good call.
Good call. Fitz Taylor is the man defensively.
He didn't look like he was trying to get away from that guy, though, did he?
So the ball at the 2-yard line and a new set of downs for Florida State.
There's a load of Clemson people in that end zone.
Straight ahead, Bennett is caught with a head-high tackle and is knocked down at the 1. Vince Taylor is the man who grabbed him, and then Dexter Davis came up.
Fastest group of linebackers they've ever had at Clemson, and you're going to see the speed. Watch how quickly they react. Look at Taylor, 58. Took a false step, got back, and still made the tackle on the fullback a yard short of the end line. Anything lateral, Florida State's not going to have success with.
He might have been fortunate to hold on to the football, as ferocious as the tackle was. Bennett to the 1-foot line. Brewster and Simmons coming up to make the hit for Clemson White.
Goal line defense is the most fun and the easiest to play. All you have to do is strap it up and come, especially when they're going to run a fullback.
And Peter Tom Willis has just taken the 3rd Florida State timeout of this first half with 1 minute and 40 seconds left until halftime.
This is what Clemson lives for. This is what their program is all about. Here they come. And they're loving it and enjoying it. Those are even fun when the guy scores.
You can see Vince Taylor, number 58. In fact, Clemson was looking for the dive, and that's what Taylor appeared to be there to cover. Coming up at halftime, it's the USF&G halftime report. Bob Carpenter. And Bob will have scores from around the country and also highlights of today's big games. Week number 2. Bobby Bowden talks it over with Peter Tom Willis. He's a senior out of Morris, Alabama.
They tried to run it in straight ahead. They must be deciding that they can't do that, so what do you do? I don't think you can go laterally. It's either got to be a pass or I tried the play that would have worked was the naked bootleg by Peter Tom. But Clemson could be looking for it now.
But also you look at a situation, Cam, where for Florida State down 21-0, this is definitely 4-down territory.
They just had 2 and they didn't get anywhere.
But what I'm saying is,
yeah, they'll pound it. I agree with you.
3rd and goal.
High formation. You watch the fullback.
Carter, touchdown Seminole. Sound meter here in Tallahassee, Florida, and that thing went right through the top as the Seminoles get on the scoreboard for the first time tonight. Carter with his 3rd touchdown of the season. Bill Mason tries to cut the Clemson lead to 14.
As soon as they snap this ball, you have to follow Paul Moore. He's the fullback, number 32. Everybody should be headed that way, but they don't. They hesitate just a little bit. You see Moore leading the play, and just enough of a crack to get in the end zone. Well, they ought to give him 8 points for that touchdown. That was a hard-earned touchdown.
94 seconds showing on the clock until intermission time. A lot of momentum could come from that. Chief Osceola and Renegade down on the far end of the field. Don't forget ESPN's College Football Saturday continues next week, and there's a triple header. First game, 12:30. It's an Ivy League battle between Princeton and Dartmouth. Then at 4 o'clock, the Golden Bears in California will travel to Miami to take on the 3rd-ranked Hurricanes, and they won big today over Wisconsin. Then at 7:30, Cam and I will be down in the Bayou Country, 16th-ranked Florida State against 21st-ranked LSU. Death Valley awaits Bobby Bowden's crew. And I know for all you people up in South Carolina, yours also is Death Valley. And last night as we talked to the production meeting, probably what somebody should do is schedule LSU and Clemson, play it at a neutral site, and the winning team gets to hold on to the call of Death Valley for their stadium.
I don't know if I'd like to be at that game. There'd be bloodshed at that game.
Going to bound into the end zone and go out the back as Terry Allen watched it go out the base of the end zone. So Clemson will take it at the 20. You take a look at the drive, and Kevin described it best.
Yeah.
That's a blood and guts drive right there. 11 plays, 74 yards.
And a Ruski in the middle.
Offside against the kicking team, Florida State.
Now let's see if Coach Ford wants him to do it over again. With nobody touching the ball and going out the back of the end zone, and you can see by his signal, he said, yep, let's make him do it again. Thought it was interesting last night as we talked with him also. I said, had you just as soon as Florida State had won that opening game over Mississippi Southern? And he said, you bet, because they are not going to be in a very good mood.
Well, they weren't in a good mood before this game. They're really not in a good mood now.
I started to say Clemson is not in a very good mood tonight, offensively and defensively.
Well, special teams have been a nightmare. As we come to the end of the first half of the second game, they've just murdered Florida State. The opening kickoff run back, they really need to cover this kickoff. Maybe that's why Danny Ford said, let them kick it again. Their record isn't too good.
Number 9 is Richie Andrews, Jr., whose home is Fort Lauderdale, Florida. He'll get another shot at it here. Special teams break the huddle. Good point that Bobby Bowden made is that last year's very fine special teams, many of those kids have now gone into starting roles, and he said he thought they had been hurt by that because there were so many new faces on special teams.
And to the climate down here, it's very difficult to play on all the teams, so you need to have a transition, but their younger people haven't done the job.
At the 27. Doug waited for a moment, tried to make the outside move, and Howard Dinkins for Florida State comes over to make the stop. So it's 21-7 as the Seminoles finally get on the scoreboard. No timeouts remaining for either ball club.
I wonder if Danny feels obligated to run a trick play here.
I would think it'd be extremely important to maybe just not necessarily pick up a first down, but don't let anything big happen for Florida State, because they already got a little momentum off that 11-play drive. Maybe more than enough. Pitch to Allen. Has 5, has 10, kiss him goodbye, or at the 30, the foot race is on, and he'll score. 73 yards. Safely say by that picture right there that old Mo decided that she was going to jump back to the all-white uniforms here with the orange headgears as Terry Allen with his 3rd touchdown of the night and the 2nd Clemson score from 73 yards. Gardaki's extra point is up and good.
Kid's been first team ACC for 2 years. There's nothing fancy about this. This is a pitch. It's a toss sweep. They just caved in the inside. You see player there, number 44, gets caught inside, and that was the key to the play. And now it's a foot race. Butler having to come from way on the other side, trying again to run him down. Terry Allen, they say, is faster this year, and I guess that proves it. Here it is from the inside. Now watch how they cave in the corner. Right there, a bad decision as the defense tried to come inside. When you're this close to the half, you have to contain it. He got himself caught inside, and that was the difference in the play. Then it's a foot race.
Leroy Butler giving chase, and the number 44, John Weich, who got caught inside in traffic. And the Clemson Tigers, 28-7, have put a quiet on this mostly partisan house here in Tallahassee for the moment.
Weiss is a safety, and that's why they call them safeties, because they're supposed to keep everything safe, and to get caught inside on a toss sweep that close to the line of scrimmage, well, you see what can happen.
Tebow with the kickoff for Clemson. The bounds, and they will do it again. They'll back it up to the 30-yard line. Bob Carpenter standing by. He will be here with you at a halftime after this 1:16 showing on the clock is run off. He'll have highlights and scores from today's big action in college football. Coach Ford pacing on the sideline, and from looking at that picture right there, you might think that his ball club was on the reverse end of this 28-7 game. So we talked about off the top the importance of this game nationally.
Well, he knows better than to smile. Again, they're very, very explosive, and this team's been down before. Remember what we talked about, them being more comfortable maybe in the role of an underdog? Well, they can talk about that at halftime and come out, because that's what they are now.
Set it on the tee. Of course, this is the only place that one can be used in college football now. Allen now 109 yards, 3 touchdowns. Dawson came within a couple of men of breaking it, and Shannon Baker, I beg your pardon, out to the 40-yard line. ESPN's presentation of CFA football continues tomorrow night. It's a special edition. The defending WAC champion Wyoming Cowboys will take on the Falcons of Air Force. Tim Brando and Vince Dooley will be on hand for that one. 8:15 Eastern time. We'll see if D. Dowis can do it again. He had 249 yards his first ball game out this year. Willis in the pocket. Incomplete at the 38, Ronald Lewis, who has been silenced so far tonight, the intended receiver.
They call the receivers for Florida State. There's Allen. Great run. Tremendous player. 3 touchdowns. As you look at his stats, they call the receivers for Florida State the Fabulous Four. They ought to start calling the Clemson secondary the More Fabulous Four, because they're doing a heck of a job.
Willis gets the pass off to Anthony at the 50-yard line, and is going to be knocked down by James Lott. 56 seconds left until halftime. We saw that graphic just a moment ago on Allen, 109 yards. Florida State has been held to 59 yards rushing in the first half.
40 of those belong to a guard. I think that's great. I love that.
Willis looking inside the 40-yard line. Lawrence Dawsey. Florida State continues to move the ball as Davis comes over to make the tackle. No timeouts remaining for the Seminoles.
A team this sophisticated in a passing game should not need timeout.
Sideline route incomplete. That's Dowsey, the intended receiver. Jerome Henderson was there to apply the hit. Dowsey comes right off the field, and number 7, Ronald Lewis, replaces him. They almost have an open substitution between themselves, the 4 receivers for Florida State.
Clemson is giving them the middle of the field. They're contesting those sideline patterns and anything deep outside, but they will give them the middle of the field. Now, that's the problem for Florida State. Unless they get a first down, the clock will continue to run.
Willis, ball is batted down at the line of scrimmage. Kirkland also was coming in, but it looked like Davis, number 97, who got an arm up. Willis now 7 of 19 for 94 yards.
Well, watch the orange hats. They're just coming. Peter Tom taking a real deep drop. 3 people got to him on that pass rush, and I'll tell you, the secondary was doing their job too. The coverage was excellent. So Clemson playing real fine team defense.
Over the middle for the first down. Reggie Johnson at the 22-yard line. 14 yards on the pass at that time, and they're going to tack on a personal foul as Willis was roughed after he delivered the ball.
Roughing the passer against Clemson. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
You see Danny not too happy. Watch 44, Levon Kirkland. He jumps, and no, that's not necessary, Levon. When you have an aggressive defense, sometimes that happens, but at this point, you don't want to give Florida State a chance to score.
Clock is running. I'm not sure Florida State now. Willis sees it. Over the middle, incomplete. Carter, the intended receiver, and he almost had his head taken off by McDaniel. And the clock runs out.
No way, the clock did not run out. There was a second remaining. Clemson's leaving the field. No way.
The officials are now waving for Clemson to come back on the field. Florida State, after the penalty was marked off in the huddle and the clock started, they didn't see it. Peter Tom Willis all of a sudden boosted his center and said, hey, we got to get up here and get a snap off.
That clock at the end of the half did not run out. When Carter got level, there was 2 seconds left. You see, the crowd knows it.
Will be put back on the clock.
Here, let's take a look. There's your clock. Great shot, guys. Here's your hit. The ball's down. Now watch the referee. 2. That's the whistle. 1. There's a second left. Talk about a Ruski. Danny Ford tried the biggest Ruski in history.
Clemson coming back out of the tunnel, and Bill Mason will come on to attempt the field goal for Florida State. This one is going to be placed down at the 18-yard line. I'm sure the concern for Florida State is to make sure as the players come back on the field, or for Clemson, I should say, that the correct team is on the field.
Wait, there's a guy down there without his shoes on. He left them in the locker room. Just kidding.
28-yard attempt.
I've never seen that before, ever.
He is gone. Now they head to the locker room. As Coach Ford is back out talking with the officials again, you could see on the replay, and what he is being explained is that 1 second should have been put back on the clock. And according to our replay, the officials were so very correct. So it's halftime. 28 Clemson, Florida State 10. Let's take a break, and let's go to Bob Carpenter. Bob?
All right, Ron and Kevin, thank you very much. And we welcome you to the USF&G Halftime Report. We'll have all the stories, including scores and highlights. But first, we've got some upsets to talk about as well. Let's take a look at some of the late scores, ball games in progress right now. Tigers everywhere. Clemson, Auburn, and Pacific. Auburn in the fourth quarter all over Pacific, 48-0. 5 unanswered touchdowns in the first half for Auburn. Reggie Slack, 60 and 78-yard touchdown passes in that game to Alexander Wright. Mississippi State at Southern Miss in Hattiesburg. It's a 14-13 game right now as they have just now reached halftime. The biggest crowd ever at Roberts Stadium, almost 35,000 watching tonight. Arizona and Texas Tech are playing in Lubbock this evening, where Arizona over the years has only 2-11 lifetime at the home of the Red Raiders. After a Ronald Veal 1-yard run for Arizona, this is James Gray going 26 yards for Tech, a career TD record at that school, his 33rd, and he's already rushed 18 times for 142 yards already. They've added another touchdown moments ago and lead at 14-7 in the second quarter in Lubbock. A little bit later, Tennessee is on the road at number 6 UCLA, their first meeting in 4 years. That one ended in a 26-26 tie. Lots of scores and a whole lot of highlights coming up next on the USF&G Halftime Report. We're at halftime. Clemson on Paterno was a bit worried about this one. He should have been. First quarter, no score. Sean Moore looking for Herman Moore. They would hook up twice on the day. This one covering 24 yards, 7-0 Cavaliers. In the fourth quarter now, it's 14-6, and the Cavaliers are defensing a late play for Penn State. Tom Bill looking for Terry Smith, and it falls incomplete. The Cavaliers win for the first time ever against Penn State by a score of 14-6, and Joe Paterno now 20-4 in season openers.
He was precise. He handled the ball well. Looking at 1 or 2 penalties at the very most, and 1 turnover. And they just played too well for us at this stage. We're not good enough yet to beat Virginia the way they played today. It's as simple as that. I'm disappointed, but I'm not discouraged. And I mean that very sincerely. I'm disappointed that we got licked, but I really, honestly, am not discouraged.
First time the Nittany Lions have lost a home opener in 31 years. Miami of Florida ranked number 3 in the AP Top 25 on their way to Wisconsin today to take on the Badgers of the Big Ten. And with the score at 13-3, Craig Erickson finds Wesley Carroll. Carroll rumbles in for the score, a 15-yard touchdown, 20-3. Still in the second, Miami knocking again. Erickson to Carroll, this time for 6. Miami cruises to a 27-3 halftime lead. Wisconsin head coach Don Morton, not a whole lot he could do about this one. His team hammered at home today, 51-3. Nebraska's Cornhuskers were expected to do the same to Northern Illinois. Huskers not playing the toughest non-conference schedule among contending teams for the national championship. 17-17 for a while, and Nebraska then went on to win it 48-17 in Lincoln today. Meanwhile, another team seeing action in the Big 8, and that was Oklahoma. Oklahoma playing host to Baylor. The Sooners had never lost to the Baylor Bears. And Oklahoma getting Mike Gaddis, the young guy they call the franchise, rambling from 19 yards, his second touchdown. And with freshman quarterback Steve Collins out with a broken finger in his right hand, out 4 to 6 weeks, reserve sophomore Chris Melson took charge. Here he goes 37 yards, setting up another Sooner touchdown. In the second quarter, it's 21-0 OU. Ike Lewis breaks free for 39 yards as the Sooners gain 338 on the ground and take care of Baylor easily today, 33-7 at Owen Field in Norman. Colorado's Buffaloes looking good in the early going. They're ranked 9th in the nation. They beat Colorado State's Rams 45-20 at home this afternoon. Syracuse at Temple at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, and the Orange, no problem at all. 14th ranked Syracuse 43 and Temple just 3. Bill Sharr with a big day, as well as Rob Moore at the catching and receiving ends. Texas A&M coming off the win last week against LSU in College Station to the other end of the country, to Seattle against the Huskies of Washington today. Scoreless in the first quarter when Kerry Conklin hits Mario Bailey in the corner of the end zone, and it's a 22-yard reception, 7-0 Huskies. Washington built a 19-6 lead behind 4 John McCallum field goals, but A&M tried to come back late in the game. Lance Pavlis looking downfield, but picked off by Chico Fraley, and Washington wins it 19-6. They have won now 10 of their last 11 home openers up at the big ballpark in Seattle. Number 17, West Virginia on the road today to open things up at Maryland, and the Mountaineers would fall behind early in this contest against the Terrapins of the ACC. First quarter, scoreless. Ricky Nelson of Maryland breaking 3 tackles. Look at that hit. And he still goes en route to a 46-yard touchdown, and the Terps lead it 7-0. Third quarter, they're up by 10, but Major Harris, who ran for 64 yards in the day and passed for 150, goes around right side for an 8-yard touchdown run, and Maryland is now ahead 10-7, but West Virginia comes back to take it by a score of 14-10, and West Virginia, 17th in the nation, rolling on the road today. Pitt at Boston College winning 29-10 this afternoon. The Panthers had 2 TD passes from Alex Van Pelt, and Carnell Smith had a big fumble return for a touchdown. Played great defense today, did he? A big offensive show at North Carolina State as the Wolfpack handled Georgia Tech 38-28. Shane Montgomery had 3 touchdown passes, shook off an early interception, and came back to lead the Wolfpack to victory by 10 at home. Coming up next, a few more highlights and a lot field, but you couldn't cool Ole Miss down. They led 7-6 in the second half. Kyle Morris looking to pass, but Chauncey Godwin there for the 2nd interception of the day. This one he takes back 58 yards for a touchdown. Florida did have a bright spot. It wasn't their passing, though, as Morris threw 2 interceptions, but it was the running of Emmitt Smith. He went in for a 2-yard touchdown here, and he ran for 117 yards and 2 scores on the day. But all in all, not a whole lot for Galen Hall to be excited about today. In fact, he couldn't even look, as with seconds left, his team down by 5. Kyle Morris throwing up the Hail Mary. Nobody within praying distance of that one. And a big upset for Ole Miss on the road at Florida, 24-19. As Lee Corso said earlier, state of Mississippi 2, state of Florida none so far this season. Let's move on. Indiana losing 17-14 at Kentucky. Alfred Rawls had 15 carries for 107 yards in that ball game. Purdue coming from behind amid bad weather in West Lafayette to beat Miami of Ohio 27-10, a game you saw earlier today on ESPN. Duke at home in the fourth quarter, 34-16 over Northwestern. Billy Ray has a 16-yard touchdown pass to Clarkston Hines in that game. Oklahoma State playing at Skelly Stadium in Tulsa, and the Hurricane now in the fourth quarter with a 17-10 lead. They've just taken lead, and T.J. Rubley has broken the Tulsa passing mark of Jerry Rome in that game. California is at Oregon. Oregon 28-13 in the fourth quarter. A reminder, you'll see Cal at Miami of Florida next week at 4 p.m. Eastern on ESPN, one of our afternoon games next Saturday. Oregon State at home against Stanford out in the Pac-10. It's 7-0 first quarter there. Stanford has won 17 of the last 20 meetings between those two schools. Appalachian State trying to cost Wake Forest again. The Tide did it last year, but Wake has the 1-point lead in the third quarter at home. Iowa State, the Cyclones up in Ames against Ohio University of the MAC. The Bobcats down 21-3. That is a halftime score. Only the second time they've ever met. Louisville came from behind to beat Kansas. Schnellenberger's Cardinals now 33-28 winners and 2-0 on the year, and they were down for a while in this one. TCU at Missouri, and Bob Stull's homecoming is a success as he debuts his Tigers at Faurot Field with a 14-10 win over TCU. North Carolina last lost to VMI in 1927. It might be 2027 before VMI gets them again. Ball State and Rutgers were the crazy one at Rutgers today, ending in a 31-31 tie. The Knights now are 0-2 on the year. Virginia Tech at South Carolina, big one down in Columbia tonight. Tech on top of South Carolina, 17-14. That's in the fourth quarter. At the half, Rice and Tulane battling. The Owls have it 16-10 over the Green Wave at this point. And Arkansas and Memphis State just underway. They are scoreless in the first quarter. Arkansas State leads that series by a couple of games over the years, 19-17-4. More scores coming your way. We'll look at conferences like the Yankee and the Colonial. For 200 yards in that game. Rhode Island winning big at Richmond, 45-14. Steve Monaco, 3 touchdown passes for Rhode Island. James Madison and Massachusetts, 28-28 tie as they played to a real deadlock there. James Madison had a 14-0 lead early. Holy Cross hasn't lost a season opener in the 80s and still have not. They beat Villanova 38-17. Delaware against Boston University, winning 28-21. Darrell Brantley, 165 yards and a couple of touchdowns rushing today. Central Connecticut State losing 27-9 at UConn. Matt DeGennaro, 19 of 25 with 250 yards passing for the Huskies. Lehigh winning easily in the Colonial Athletic Association at Fordham today, 42-7 the final there. The Rams now fall to 0-2. William and Mary at home over Colgate, 17-13. Robert Green, 18 totes for 113 yards this afternoon. Lafayette big over Kutztown State, hammered them a year ago, did it again today, 44-14. Northeastern 2017 over Towson State. Quarterback Dan DePon, 29 carries for 105 yards. Western Michigan of the Mid-American Conference, the Broncos handling Louisiana Tech 24-20. Freshman Brad Tales, a 2-yard, couple of touchdown passes of 8. He was also 18 of 36 for over 300 yards. Eastern Michigan, on the other side of the state, the Hurons over Youngstown State 14-3. Eastern Michigan now has won its last 5 meetings in this series. Central Michigan and Southwest Louisiana. Southwestern, one of those directional schools, has it 19-3 in the second quarter. Their first Mid-American foe ever against the Chippewas. East Carolina has outscored Bowling Green 38-6. That one is in the third quarter. And we'll take a break and bring you even more scores on the USF&G halftime report. That'll be right before we send it back to Tallahassee.
Thanks so much, Bob Carpenter. That's 261 yards to 171. And probably the stat that's not up there. Look at passes attempted and completed to the 21 that Peter Tom has thrown. Willis has had a hand in his face on at least 18 of those with somebody hanging on his body. I would think that's one of the things that Florida State said at halftime simply has to improve.
I think they're going to run the ball. They need to run the ball against Clemson here.
Dexter Carter takes it off the left side for a couple. It's Otis Moore. Florida State's first half possession chart. -5 punt, -11 punt. You see at this juncture they've only run 13 plays, then 21. Interception for the touchdown, and the 74 yards for a touchdown on the next possession, and then 49 yards and the field goal just before halftime. Willis on the play action. Pass is caught by Lewis. Breaks off one tackle and will be knocked out of bounds at the 48-yard line. Didn't have a catch in the first half. Has one now.
A little bit of play action, and you're going to see a Clemson defender.
Otis Moore.
Otis Moore on the corner. Now what you're going to see, good play action here. As you can see, fooled everybody. Moore didn't know what he wanted to do. He didn't know whether he wanted to come up and make the interception or stay back and keep him from running a touchdown. They were a critical error, and they almost broke a big one.
Lewis again. Cuts it up inside the 40-yard line. Arlington Nunn makes the tackle. Let me clear one thing. I steered you wrong. I thought you were talking about who had applied the pressure. That was Otis Moore. I believe it was Dexter Davis who was out there in the cover.
I thought they'd switch shirts there in the first half. Clemson, again, a percentage defense. They're giving them the short stuff, and Florida State, very sophisticated, will recognize it immediately and go for those short underneath routes.
28-10. Seminoles opening drive, second half. Willis into the flat, has it complete to Edgar Bennett out of the backfield. John Johnson made the tackle, but not before he had gained 11. Coach Bowden given to pacing all during the ball game, but when you're down the way his ball club was down in this first half, maybe a little bit more grass eaten up this evening.
You give that man 20 minutes to think of something over halftime, and I'd be frightened when he came out.
Bennett straight ahead inside the 30, and he's going to have the Florida State first down. Kirkland is the man who has him to the ankles. Down underneath that stack also is Bodine.
Right side of this Florida State line, Mike Morris and John Brown are big guys, and they're starting to knock people over backwards. And Bennett is no Petunia himself. He's 222 pounds. Now, the one thing an 18-point deficit will do to you, it'll make you mad. And this is a proud team, and they're mad.
hands. He had somebody in his face again.
All right, from field level, Peter Tom, exactly as you said, Ron, and this is a good pass. The only one who can get it is Anthony, and he does.
Not quite enough for the first down. Going to be about a half-yard shy. So the Seminoles with a down to play with, so to speak. Caught by Dawson. Enough for the first down, and then he gets kissed down hard. Dexter Davis is the man who posted him, and then it was Arlington Nunn, and you could hear the wrap-up here. Really put the headgear on him. First and 10, Florida State. Running play. Dexter Carter tries to get outside, and he's muscled down at the 9-yard line. James Lott got the tackle and lost his headgear at the same time. One of the tough things for Dexter Carter, he's only 5'9", 172 pounds, and would try to start muscling, particularly against a muscle defensive club like Clemson. That's a tough chore. Bobby Bowden was worried about that.
Not in there for his strength, he's in there for his speed, but they ran him down on that play.
Willis throws it away. It's Otis Moore, the senior, home Augusta, Georgia, was applying pressure again.
Wayne Simmons, the young linebacker, holding up the tight end, and that's where they want to go. Get him loose in the middle. Simmons all over him and then covers underneath. Nice job by a young linebacker. The Bandit. He stole a pass route there.
I think it's a first incomplete pass by Willis in the second half. He's 13 of 27 now. Reverse, Lewis. Down to the 3.
This is a tough play against the goal line defense because they're going to penetrate. This play had no right working. It took too long. Lewis did a great job of stumbling, and that's what caused the Clemson tackler to miss him, and then a gutty try for the goal line, and it's a first down.
First and goal. The ball just outside the 2-yard line. Carter at the 1. Brewster made the tackle. You could see Florida State faking the reverse. And Carter just needed a little bit larger body to get it in there.
Fullback, stop the fullback. Stop the fullback. They scored going left.
Bennett. Paul Moore. Nailed at the line of scrimmage by Vince Taylor.
Any linebacker worth their salt is going to be boring a hole in the fullback. Number 32, Paul Moore. And Taylor's a fine linebacker. Watch 58. He's not thinking about anything else except kissing that guy, and he did it. Nice play.
You remember the discussion and what I mentioned the last time they were down here on goal line defense is that was the same move he made before. He's got the dive back. So let's take a break as Florida State calls a timeout. Inches away, they trail by 18. Paul Moore, touchdown. the top as Florida State. The offense will stay on the field, and they will go for a two-point conversion. They have the option, Kevin, of moving the ball to either hash mark or to leave it right in center field, and that is exactly where they're going to leave it, right in the middle of the turf. Rob Bodine spoiled the two-point conversion. As you could see, Peter Tom Willis looking at one, then at two, and then at a third receiver.
And if Bodine picks that ball clean from Willis, he can go the other way. Remember, there's a new rule from last year. He could have scored, and that was very close to that. Hey, here's a touchdown. Now, Paul Moore, 240 pounds of this. It's a good thing he had an extra burger for dinner, because that's what he made it by. That's a good power run for a yard. Clemson just can't get up there quick enough. Moore nice and low. All you get is headgear and shoulders, and that was a big TD. But the two-point conversion was essential because it would have made it a 10-point game. Now, Peter Tom, the defense again, Clemson's played brilliantly all night. The coverage is there, but watch his hand where the ball is. If that ball was picked clean, they go the other way. It's 2 points. They can score on an extra point.
So Bobby Bowden's ball club comes out of the locker room and takes the second half kickoff and drives it in for the touchdown. They missed the two-point conversion, but still, this means that the last two possessions, they have put 9 points on the scoreboard.
It also means that the Clemson offense can't sit on the ball.
To kick off for the Seminoles. 12-point ball game, 28-16. Got Thomas at the 3. All the way out to the 41-yard line as McCorvey makes the tackle. Last week, Southern Mississippi averaged ball possession at the 36-yard line, Kev, on returns. And you can see Coach Bowden is very unhappy with special teams again.
Watch the right side of your screen, the left side. Look at these guys. They're all out of their lane. Look at the right side. There's not anybody to even block. I mean, that's basic. That's basic special teams. You got to keep an arm's distance. You got to stay in your lanes.
Dumps it out, complete at the 45 to McFadden. Be a gain of 4. 13 plays, 77 yards. Moore with a 1-yard run. 6 minutes and 14 seconds is what was eaten up in the drive. Bobby Bowden was extremely chapped after the kickoff return. That man knows that his ball club needs to just play steady, consistent football. Allen bumped out of bounds after a gain of maybe 1. Leroy Butler got out there to make the hit. Possession chart in the first half by Clemson. 8 plays, 53 yards, a touchdown. 4 plays, 6 yards at a punt in the second. Then they drove 80 for another touchdown. And 73 yards on their last possession of the half. Not going to have the first down as McFadden collided with his quarterback momentarily. Morocco couldn't get out of the way, and listen to this crowd with the 4th down situation. An average of 41 yards, his longest 49. And the left footer ankles it, for 33. Shane Scott of the tackle. Let's catch our breath. We'll be back to Tallahassee in a moment. Willis dumps it off. That's Moore. Breaks off one tackle. Still on his feet for a couple of more. And Wayne Simmons finally corrals him. Brewster also helping on the play. Kev, one of the things you have to say about Wayne Simmons, only a freshman from Hilton Head, but good heavens, he's not playing like a freshman.
No, they were very high on him. They think he's going to be a great player. The problem is they have a lot of great players in that position. Clemson's defense has played a magnificent game. They really have.
State. This is going to bring up a third down. They'll need about 2.5 yards.
One of the problems that Florida State has is running wide, and this is why. Look at the depth of the inside linebackers. Unless they establish the middle run. See that? See how he can run laterally? Brewster is able to come up and make those wide plays because Florida State has not established the fullback inside, so they're laying off playing soft and they're running these guys down. They have to hit it up inside.
Gets it away, and it is caught by Johnson. That man showed me a great deal on that play. The safety blitz, and they were all over him.
There's Johnson fighting, and PT in the backfield. Peter Tom hits him right in the chest under duress. That's a little bit of a late hit. Now watch what Peter Tom does with a blitz. We've got you. No. And then off balance, he hits him right between the 8 and the O. Well, that's some pretty good offense.
On first down. Has a man. Complete. Dawsey.
Here come the Seminoles, a soft zone by Clemson, and Peter Tom again right over the short man and underneath the deep man. Just terrific pass.
Willis, good protection, throws it complete to the same. Gets by one tackler and is finally going to be stopped at the 37-yard line. Good heavens. Florida State, as you can see, Coach Ford on the far sideline clapping his hands, does not want to panic, but he understands, just as Kevin stated very correctly a moment ago, the Seminoles are on the attack in the second half. Moore breaks it up the middle. Fumbles the ball, and Clemson recovers. James Lott, after a brilliant run inside the 20-yard line, and the Seminoles shoot themselves in the foot.
Exactly what they had to do. Here's your linebacker sitting deep, and they're going to run the fullback right up inside. Now watch. They get blocked 3 yards back of the line of scrimmage. They never even got a shot at the fullback, and that's exactly what Florida State has to do. But he drops the ball, and Lott comes along and picks it up. But they've established it. If they can hold him, they've still got an offense that's working.
Pitch back to Allen. Has 4, has 5. Very tough yards on the left side. Odell Hagens is the man who made the hit in this crowd. I don't see how Morocco heard the signal. Southern Mississippi trailing Mississippi State. Texas Tech leading Arizona. That's in the third period. final against Pacific. And Tulsa, that's final now. Tulsa by 10 over Oklahoma State. Allen turns it upfield, and he will have enough for the Clemson first down. Kirk Carruthers came up and really put a blow on him, but the youngster turned it up, and that will quiet the crowd momentarily as the change will move across the way.
Clemson is a classic conservative team. One pass from inside their own 40, 5 for 6 from outside the 40. They've thrown one pass since the first quarter. They will sit on a lead, and it will get them in trouble against this team.
Counter the option. Morocco Keith has 5, has 10, 15, and counted off at 20. But Corby saved a possible touchdown as they countered the option and came to the open side of the field.
Exactly what the Seminoles want him to do. They want the quarterback to run it, but they overplay it. Fullback doesn't have it. They're going to overplay the pitch man. See? And here comes Morocco. Not a great runner, but there's no one there, and he's able to get upfield. And Clemson, to their credit, able to run the ball when they haven't passed but one time since the first quarter.
Ball back up the middle, McFadden. Inside the 45 to the 43. That's a gain of 7.
They say he's an All-American, number 53, Odell Higgins. He must hold his ground against the Clemson running game. Double teamed on roller skates. He's gone, and here comes the quick hitter. He has to hold up the center. Tough to do against two guys. Either that drop to the ground, but don't get moved off the line.
Henderson in the ball game. Gets the pitch. Turns it back upfield. Dodge made the tackle and is still on the ground, shaken up a little bit. Ron Franklin and Kevin Kiley at Florida State University, Tallahassee, Florida. 1:50 left in this third period. 12-point ball game, and the Seminoles came out charging, and a fumble just a moment ago by Moore into the drive that looked as though it was headed for score. Morocco, look in, pass, complete to Fletcher at the 20 and inside the 15. 24 yards. Kevin Grant made the tackle, the senior out of Ocala.
This guy's been doing this since I've known him, and that's way back in the early 80s. Inside his own 40, no pass. Inside your 40, they'll do just about anything. To his credit, everyone in the country knows it, and he makes it work. Establish the running game, make them play it, bang, hit that pass.
Option play, pitch back to Allen, great defense as Carruthers comes across and knocks him down for the loss. After that last catch by Fletcher, Kevin, that's 3 for him on the night for 81 yards. He had 1 catch for 19 in that opening game against Furman.
Got to stop the option to the wide side of the field, to Clemson's left.
Pitch to Allen. Tries to turn the corner, squirts by a couple of tacklers. Carruthers finally got him by the ankles, but he got 5 yards that I have a feeling Coach Bowden will say when they look at the video on Monday he should not have had.
Well, what makes Terry Allen so great? Well, he's a slasher, not real fast, but look. He finds a way to get through the defense and pick up the yards when there's nothing there. That's a tremendous run from that kid.
And Clemson is going to let the clock run down at the end of the third period as Terry Allen has just picked up 123 yards on his 18th carry. So let's take a break. Clem back, they turned it over, and now the Tigers trying to retaliate. breaks off one tackle, but he will not get by Hagens. Odell Hagens grabbed a hold and is going to knock him down for maybe a yard loss. 29-yard attempt. He is perfect. So Gardocki from 29 yards, and Clemson extends their lead to 31-16. Breathing a little easier? I don't think so. Not until the horn sounds. Bobby Bowden on the near side of the field saying, guys, we got to stay pumped up. Shannon Baker at the 2. Baker hammered down at the 21 by Kendall Jackson out of LaGrange, Georgia. 10 plays, 71 yards, and most importantly, using up almost 5 minutes on the drive with Gardocki's 29-yard field goal. Tom Willis, the numbers on him now, 210 yards. He's 17 of 31 with 1 interception. Sets deep under pressure again, and he's going to be slung down by Simmons. Draw play to Moore. Wrapped up in the backfield. Bennett, I beg your pardon, and Vance Hammond comes across to make the hit. Vance 6'7", 295 pounds, only a junior.
Tallest lineman ever to play at Clemson, number 90. Hard to even get in a crouch. He feels it. There's no pressure. They're not trying to block him. That's just good coaching. He felt the draw, and he went out and got it. Too predictable a play.
Reggie Johnson, the tight end, comes into the ballgame, replacing Dave Roberts, bringing the play. Willis dumps it over the middle, and he drops it. The man we were just talking about, Reggie Johnson, and he had him open. Would not have been enough for the first down. Vance Hammond, who made the last tackle on the running play, 1 play ago, was applying the pressure. First punt for Florida State in the second half. Ward's kick, it's a line drive. The lot on the fair catch, and they will have it in great field position at the 47-yard line. Only 33 yards in the kick. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Henderson turns the corner, breaks it out, finally pushed out of bounds by Dodge, but not before he has the first down and about 7 yards more. Looked as though for a moment he was going to break it big, and he's tackled at the 30-yard line by Leroy Butler.
Center Hank Phillips, Eric Harmon's the right guard, Stacy Long is the right tackle. Watch what they do here. Just shut down the Seminoles on the right side, and here comes Terry Allen. That's been the story all night. A tremendous job by the offensive line at Clemson.
31-16, Clemson leads. Look in pass, it is caught by Fletcher at the 13.
Butler is down. Take us up.
4 receptions now for Fletcher. They've all been huge. Arizona has come back and tied Texas Tech. Oregon at now final as they win over the Golden Bears and win big.
Oregon State by 7 over Stanford before the half. Virginia Tech and South Carolina tie. That's a big tie for Virginia Tech. Good program at South Carolina.
Pitch back to Allen. Tries to turn the corner, and he just goes airborne. Inside the 10, Carruthers made the hit on him. Hagens was also down there to get a piece of him. As Allen saw the end of the road, he said, I'll just go airborne and pick up whatever I can. He's going to wind up with about 4.
As long as I've been following in Clemson and that man, they've always had a fine offensive line. And as I said earlier in the game, rather have an offensive line than a quarterback. How many coaches will tell you that? He made it work tonight. Outmanned them. Outmanned Florida State.
For about 1, and left tackle is Kevin Grant. Steps up into the hole and makes the initial contact for the Seminoles. And for Clemson, I think you'll watch Morocco keep an eye on the 25-second clock and run it as far down on each snap as he possibly can. Game clock is about to go under 10 minutes.
They don't need a touchdown. A field goal makes it an 18-point game. You need 3 scores to win this game if you're Florida State, and Danny is not going to put it up.
They fake the pitch reverse. Morocco keeps it, and oh, does he get nailed as Keith Carter puts a headgear on him. Also, Joe Ostaszewski, number 75.
Well, one of the problems, they haven't been getting any penetration from the defensive line. They did there. They were able to mess it up a little here. From the side, you see the defensive line takes a gap. And they also cover that reverse man. It was going to be a reverse. Florida State reacts and are able to stop it. But Clemson really, for the most part, just wanted field position. This is a big field goal.
26-yard attempt. He's already hit one from 29. Gardaki from 26, and the Clemson Tigers go on top by 18 with just over 9 minutes to play. 16, their ball club leading.
They go everywhere, those people. I know when I used to travel down to Clemson, there'd be orange paws on every car within 1,000 miles.
Baker at the 5. Hemmed up at about the 21-yard line. Markers from all over. Some extra activities going on. The officials sort this one out. Take a look at Clemson's schedule and who they have after tonight.
Virginia Tech just tied South Carolina, but I guess the one guy had 2 bite marks in his leg and the other guy only had 1.
So Florida State, who came out of the 3rd period, in fact, they owned the 3rd period and were driving and fumbled the ball. Clemson took it back, drove down the field, and kicked a field goal, and has since answered with another. This time as they try the guard run again, and Danny Ford is saying that it is Clemson's football as they left it on the ground. Haynes carried it back in the first half. I think we're going to seek them out this time.
What do we say in the tease? You can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can't fool Clemson all of the time. They will, and Danny says there's no more time left in the half. Let's go into the locker room.
Willis has it complete. Dossie knocked out of bounds across the way. He'll stop the clock with 8:15. Nope, they're going to say that he did not get out of bounds as the clock continues to run. Jerome Henderson from Statesville, North Carolina, pushed him out of bounds. Dossie now has just hit the century mark. 6 catches for 100 yards. He'd trade them all for a victory. Right now, his ball club down by 18. Willis has it complete again. This time, Lassane. That will be enough for the first down, just across the 45 in the grasp of Arlington Nunn.
For the most part, player down.
It's Mancini, the left tackle. He's a real impact player. Only a sophomore out of Brandon, Florida.
Playing the offensive line can be tough. Here's Mancini, 67, blocking on Johnson. He's okay, he's okay. Uh-oh, from behind, rolling on the knee. Right leg. And that could cause any kind of damage. That's a typical way for an offensive lineman to get hurt. It happens a lot.
Well, for Florida State, I know we're going to see them this next weekend down in Baton Rouge. And the Tigers of LSU are going to be smart. They were off this week. They lost that opening game last Saturday night down at College Station. Then Tulane, then on the road at Syracuse and Virginia Tech. Then they've got Auburn. And look, Auburn and Miami are back-to-back weekends.
And that Syracuse game will be a tough one. Syracuse won big today over Temple.
Willis over the middle. No flag. Looking for the tight end, Dave Roberts, and this to me is one of the biggest surprises of the night. The fact Roberts does not have a reception, does he?
It looked to me like that was pass interference. I don't know if Roberts in fact does have a reception, but it looks like he should have had this one. That's right. It's either the greatest defensive play in the history of football or a foul.
Far sideline, incomplete. Henderson is the man who would airborne. Dawsey was the intended receiver. He started losing his footing, and I'm sure the thoughts going through his mind very quickly is, oh no, he's cutting in front in the open field.
As I was watching Henderson, it seemed to me like he jumped 2 counts early. If he stayed on his feet and run another 2 steps, he might have run in front of them.
Peter Tom Willis, Morris, Alabama, his home. Here's the reverse to Lewis. Turns the corner at midfield and is going to be struck down hard at the 50-yard line. Doug Brewster is the man who lowered the boom at the 50, and for Florida State, they still need the 44 for the first down.
And these plays won't work against a defense that's playing soft and looking for it. See Johnson sitting there, number 12 at the corner, and it takes an awful long time to hand that thing off. Hammond can't get him, but everybody else is headed for the sideline. There's Davis cleaning it up, number 9. Too soft. They're playing too soft. The way to hit him is in the middle. You got to hit him in those seams against the zone.
6 minutes, 40 seconds left in this one. They'll go for it on 4th. Caught for the first down at the 42-yard line, and yes, it was Terry Anthony, and we waited for a moment to make sure the official said no trap, and it was a clean catch.
Okay, this is just a crossing pattern by Anthony. It's what they're giving him underneath. Good enough for a first down, pass a little behind him, but you can see Clemson not even close enough to contest that, because what they're trying to do is keep them in the middle of the field and then corral them. And that's why, because they're leading by 18 points.
Willis in the second half, 12 of 18 for 115 yards. Here's sideline. Has it complete to his running back, Bennett. Turns it upfield inside the 40. And it's going to be...
Number 52, Robert Louis Stevenson. Not the author, but the tackle. And the holder, yes. Robert Lewis, pen in hand.
Apologies to Ashley Shepard. Good hard hit, but he was not the man that they were flagging. Set screen to the right side. Bennett will be tackled at the 47. Well, I'll tell you what, Levon Kirkland along with Otis Moore. Kirkland's had a great ball game tonight. He gets hammered down at the 40-yard line by Doug Brewster. About to hit 4.5 minutes left in this one. 34-16, Clemson.
Have to give Clemson a lot of credit defensively. They're giving you they're actually letting Florida State run out the clock on themselves. That man, he's been a winner for many years, and the reason he will play percentages, he is predictable, but his teams will hit you, and they play sound, basic football.
They've been 10-2 the last 2 years. Complete at the 34. Unbelievably, Parker held on to the football, and he just got lowered by Jerome Henderson. Boy, what a stick. The groan to the crowd.
Very impressive the tackling has been here. Now what Clemson is doing, they're just running to a spot and reacting to the ball. Everybody's kind of playing loose. Peter Tom unloads it, and then another unloading right there. That's just excellent coaching and defense with a lead. They're just keeping it on the field. Keep it in front of you.
Coach Bowden's ball club, 11-1 the last 2 years. As Peter Tom Willis comes out and says, let's take a time. On 4th down, the play action. Delivered, touchdown. Great defensive play by Dexter Davis. On the 4th and short, Florida State came out in the 2 tight end alignment, possibly thinking that Clemson would think they were going to run. They throw, and it's incomplete. And now the Tigers have but 3 minutes and 16 seconds to run off that stadium clock, and they will be 2-0. Deshane Cameron comes in at quarterback, a sophomore. He is from LaGrange, Georgia. Running play goes to the right side out around the 33-yard line, and Charlie James finally knocked down after that short game. Look at a couple of very big plays in this ballgame. This is in the first half. Florida State driving.
Peter Tom did not have a good first half, and this must have been the low point, was the low point, certainly as Simmons picked it off. Wayne Simmons looking a lot like Aaron Wallace there. Florida State, big drive here, chance to get back in the 3rd quarter, and the ball fumbled. That was Paul Moore, and that was it. Clemson got it and drove twice for scores.
Charlie James, again the ball carrier for the Clemson Tigers. He's out of Shaw, Mississippi. Carruthers knocks him down.
Come on, my dad. That's right. Come on, Mom and Dad and Jody.
This is a game, I think, where Clemson will test you physically, and I don't know that Florida State passed this test. You strap it on, you go after Clemson. If you're tougher than they are, you beat them. If not, they wasn't pretty good.
Cameron just going to keep it, takes it across the 40, and is wrapped up there. Oliver Strickland making the tackle. ESPN's presentation of CFA football continues tomorrow night. Special edition. Defending WAC champion Wyoming takes on the Air Force. Tim Brando and Vince Dooley will be there to bring it to you. 8:15 Eastern Time. 34-16 our score, and about 90 seconds right now left in this ball game. Well, Bobby Bowden looked for just the kind of ball game that you just mentioned, because in the last couple of days he has told us, he said, one of the things that when you face Clemson is the flag goes down 25-second and the clock had run out. They wanted to run it down as far as they could, and it stopped at 1:15. But Bobby Bowden said, we expect just an alley fight, because that's the kind of ball game that Clemson always has for you, whether they come to your place or whether you go to their backyard. Gardocki to punt. Booming spiral. This is Buckley all the way back at the 9. it open at the 30. At the 40, has one man to beat, and now is caught from behind at the 46-yard line by Wesley McFadden. 55 yards on the punt, 47 on the return.
This is all Buckley. There's nothing there. Watch Buckley do his thing. It's a great cut here. And this is really classic Clemson defense. It's been this way all night. One guy back, slows him down, and everybody else catches up.
Casey Weldon, he's a sophomore in his home right here in the capital city, Tallahassee. He has come in to direct the attack with just under a minute. Look out backside. Ball was possibly tipped. Dexter Davis was the closest man to it. And it looks as though he had his arm hit on the play as Chester McLaughlin was putting the pressure on. Big night for that young man. Number 8, Chris Morocco, quarterback for the Clemson Tigers.
Sean Cameron had said the first game against Furman wasn't a test, but the quarterback that came out as the starter from the Florida State game would be the starter for the rest of the year. It appears, by Deshaun's own word, it's going to be the other guy, Morocco.
Weldon with a pass, looking for the tight end Roberts, just off his fingertips. Well, tonight's Visa players of the game are from Clemson, Terry Allen. What an evening for him. 126 yards this evening, 3 touchdowns. And Lawrence Dawsey of Florida State, as part of their continuing development of amateur athletics, Visa proud to donate $1,000 to each of these universities and $1,000 to the U.S. Olympic team. Our congratulations, Terry Allen and Lawrence Dawsey. Weldon steps up into the pocket, wants to go long, and he's looking for Baker, and a marker goes down as James Lott possibly did an extremely smart thing. He was about to be beaten for a deep 6, and he just grabbed him by the pants.
Should have grabbed him on the 20-yard line instead of the 1.
Yeah, but it's only 15 yards in college, so it's not going to cost him any more.
Yeah, well, that's right. He
grabbed him by more than the pants, but the head also.
He's undressing him there. I don't like that rule.
For some coaches who voiced concerns about it, particularly late in a ball game, in a close ball game, and the fact that
well, that's outrageous.
You just tackle a receiver. Yeah.
It's an outrageous rule.
Next week, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. These same Seminoles of Florida State taking on Mike Archer's LSU Tigers. Weldon scrambling and now delivers and throws it complete at the 13-yard line to Ronald Lewis. 29 seconds left. Tell you another guy that's had a great game tonight. Could see number 12, John Johnson, putting pressure on. Boy, he was coming after the quarterback, Casey Weldon, on that play.
Well, he and Simmons play the same position. That position has been very productive. That's that bandit.
Fake the run. Now Weldon going to scramble. Gets a nice pickup block. It takes away a couple. Throwing it back across the field. Has a man open. Touchdown, Chris Parker.
Two great jobs here by Economou. I think it's Economou that picks up the 2 men, makes the block, and then by Weldon. Look at Weldon. He knows he's going to get clobbered, throws it all the way across the field to Carter, and that will look very good to the coaches in a lost cause in the films, though. He hung in there.
Bill Mason with the extra point attempt, and it's good. As you can see, they're checking out Weldon's left shoulder.
Look at this. I mean, he just knew he was going to get blown out. That was Stevenson that made that block, not Economou. A great block, picked up 2 men, and then Weldon took a pop but made the touchdown pass.
Ashley Shepard, number 96, is the man who hit him. 5 seconds left. Scoreboard show coming up next. Bob Carpenter will be throwing it up to you momentarily. Bob will be there with all the day's scores and highlights of this weekend number 2 in college football. The Miami Hurricanes, a big winner. After trailing early 3-0, they came on to blow out Wisconsin. Oklahoma, a big winner over the Baylor Bears. Penn State was upset this afternoon by Virginia of the Atlantic Coast Conference. Bob will have all of those games and more coming up next. Now, Coach Ford will not smile yet.
He's got a mouthful of chewing tobacco.
Yeah, but last night, as we talked out on the field, he has beaten some very good people. You look at his bowl success. Woody Hayes, Tom Osborne. That's an impressive list there. Hayes and Switzer. Those 2 games were in those 2 coaches' final games.
I guess they'll always remember Danny. Did you know that Danny chews Red Man during practice, but Taylor's Pride tobacco on game days? And there, that's Taylor's Pride right there.
You
that
can
lump
tell.
right there.
You can tell
can
the
you
way
tell?
I don't know. I'm saying that you can tell, huh?
Yeah.
The way it sits in his jaw.
I guess it looks better on the grass or something. I don't know.
Here comes the onside kick with 5 seconds left of the ball game. Has not gone 10 yet and has been recovered by Clemson. Chip Davis got on the football and 1 tick has gone by. So Bobby Bowden is going to be confronted with a situation, or at least will have a situation, that he's only had one other time in his coaching career here at Florida State, and that is to have dropped his first 2 ball games. It happened that first season here in Tallahassee. They went 5-6.
Yeah, I'd be hiding the schedule. Next week it's LSU. Syracuse, Auburn, and Miami together, I think, scored over 160 points today. So
going to be a tough week down here in Tallahassee in the practice field, wouldn't you say?
Well, you know, I think the thing is they have a lot of young people, and Bobby, you know, you're looking at Danny, and he's been in this position too. But what Bobby will do, he'll pull the young people together and he'll get them rolling.
Michael Carr will come in for this final snap. Takes it to the left side. Double zeros on the clock. Horn sounds, and this one is history. And finally, a smile as the Clemson Tigers have overwhelmed the Florida State Seminoles here in Seminole country, 34-23. So let's take a break. And the conversation at halftime, I'd love to hear it.
It took 2,000 years, but a revolutionary discovery is changing the way men think about coloring their gray hair. It's called Just for Men, from the leader in men's hair coloring. Simply apply Just for Men, and in 5 minutes, shampoo out. Your gray is blended away.
Crew, I'm Ron Franklin. Let's join Bob Carpenter for the College Scoreboard Show.
All right, Ron and Kevin, thank you very much, and welcome to the College Football Scoreboard on ESPN. I'm Bob Carpenter with Bino Cook and Lee Corso. A lot of things to talk about tonight, so let's get right down to the highlights and the scores. First of all, we'll take you to Lubbock, Texas. Arizona plays Oklahoma next week, but they're having a lot of trouble with the Red Raiders tonight. In fact, they're 2-11 there over the years. 7-0 Arizona, second quarter. Jamie Gill hands to James Gray. Up the middle he cuts. 26 yards for the score and a 7-7 tie. Then, after a Wildcat fumble, James Gray again up the middle. This time, 13 yards, 14-7 Tech. And so after leading 14-7, it's now 24-14 Texas Tech in the fourth quarter at home over Arizona. Big doings in Lubbock for the home team tonight. A ball game that's underway out west, number 6 UCLA at home at the Rose Bowl to Tennessee. They are scoreless in the second quarter. First time they've met in 4 years. Pacific Tigers on the road against the Tigers of Auburn, and number 5 Auburn wins it big, 55-0. Alexander Wright, 5 catches, 263 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Reggie Slack, 9 out of 10 throwing, 252 yards, 4 scores. Those guys teaming up in big fashion this evening. Clemson at Florida State, and the 10th-ranked Tigers beat the Seminoles 34-23. Bobby Bowden's team with some costly turnovers in that ball game you just saw on ESPN. At Hattiesburg tonight, a battle of Mississippi. Mississippi State at Southern Miss, and right now in the 4th quarter, it's a 23-23 tie. This has been a seesaw ball game throughout the evening. The biggest crowd ever at Roberts Stadium, in excess of 34,000, is watching this one. It was a day of upset at Penn State. Virginia coming off the kickoff classic loss to Notre Dame, and Joe Paterno on the sidelines worried, and he should be. First quarter, no score. Sean Moore goes 24 yards to Herman Moore. No relation, but they team up nicely. 7-0 Cavaliers. In the second quarter, the same connection. Sean Moore this time to Herman for 11 yards, and it's 14-zip. Herman had 4 catches for 73 yards and a touchdown today. In the 4th quarter, we go to 4th down. Tom Bill of Penn State looking to Terry Smith, but watch the Virginia defenders converge. And the Cavaliers earn their first ever win against Penn State by a score of 14-6 this afternoon. Welsh over Paterno. What a big win there in the coaching ranks. And for Penn State, the first loss in a home opener in 24 years.
They were precise. They handled the ball well. With their 1 or 2 penalties at the very most and 1 turnover. And they just played too well for us at this stage. We're not good enough yet to beat Virginia the way they played today. It's as simple as that. I'm disappointed, but I'm not discouraged. And I mean that very sincerely. I'm disappointed that we got licked, but I really, honestly, am not discouraged.
Blair Thomas of Penn State, 13 carries for 86 yards in that upset loss, the big story of the day thus far. Number 3, Miami, taking its powerful offensive show on the road up to the Big Ten in Madison, Wisconsin against the Badgers this afternoon. And with a score 13-3, second quarter, Greg Erickson finds Wesley Carroll. He rumbles in for the score, a 15-yarder, 23 Canes. Still in the second, Miami knocking on the door again. Erickson to Carroll, this time for 6 yards and 6 points. Miami cruises to a 27-3 halftime lead. Don Morton's team helpless at home today, hammered by 48 points, 51-3. Northern Illinois gave Nebraska a tussle for a while in Lincoln, but number 4 ranked Nebraska playing a rather soft non-conference schedule in its home opener, a 48-17 winner today. Ken Clark rushed for 168 yards and a couple of touchdowns for Tom Osborne today. Baylor had never beaten Oklahoma. The Sooners already this season are running wild on the ground as they usually do, and it's already 7-0 in the first quarter when sophomore Mike Gaddis goes 19 yards for his second touchdown of the day. Before that, the Sooners had lost their freshman quarterback Steve Collins with a broken finger on his right hand. He's out for 4 to 6 weeks. In steps sophomore reserve Chris Melson, 37 yards. That sets up another Sooners score. Second quarter now, it's 21-0 Oklahoma, and Ike Lewis breaks free for 39 yards. The Sooners got 338 on the ground and hammered Baylor 33-7 today. Now they're 5-0 in the series against the Baylor Bears, winning in Norman today. Colorado State played today at number 9 Colorado, and the Buffaloes at home romped. They're ranked 9th in the nation, 45-20 the victory there. Eric Bieniemy had a 44-yard touchdown run, and he also ran for 156 yards on 23 carries today. Syracuse, the 14th-ranked Orangemen, winning big at Temple 43-3. Bill Scharr, 14 of 20 for 154 yards. Rob Moore, 5 catches for 116 as the Orange crushes Temple 43-3 on the road today. The rest of the top 25 is coming your way on the college football scoreboard. And in just a few moments, Lee Corso and Bino Cook with their thoughts on week 2 of them on the heels of that win over LSU at home, traveling up to the Great Northwest, home opener for the Huskies of Washington in Seattle. Scoreless first quarter, and Kerry Conklin hits Mario Bailey in the corner of the end zone, a 22-yarder, 7-0 for the home team. Washington built a 19-6 lead with John McCallum, 4 field goals, but A&M tried to come back late in the game. Lance Pavlis looking downfield, but Chico Fraley has other ideas. He takes it back the other way, and Washington wins it today by a score at home of 19-6. A great opening win for Don James and his Huskies up in Seattle. Greg Lewis had 134 yards rushing for the Huskies of the Pac-10. Number 17, West Virginia, traveling to Maryland as the Terrapins continue that murderous September schedule. Scoreless first quarter. Maryland's Ricky Johnson. Watch him break tackles. 1, 2, and a big hit there. He will go 46 yards for the touchdown, and it's 7-0 for the Terrapins. Then we go to the third quarter. Maryland up 10-0, but now Major Harris, who threw for 150 and rushed for 64, takes control of the football game. 8 yards on the option to the right for the score. That gets it back to 10-7. West Virginia eventually wins it by a score of 14-10 at Maryland. The Terrapins, tough schedule. They're 0-2 so far. The Pitt Panthers on the road at Boston College and winning 29-10. Alex Van Pelt, a couple of touchdown passes. Carnell Smith, a 57-yard fumble return for a touchdown. You'll see some of that action as we bring you highlights later of that one. Georgia Tech at NC State. Defensive struggle in Raleigh a week ago, but not today. NC State 38-28 over Georgia Tech. Shane Montgomery had 3 touchdown passes for Dick Sheridan's team. Now let's update a couple of scores for you. We showed scoreless earlier. Tennessee on top of UCLA, 7-0 in the second quarter at the Rose Bowl. Sterling hitting a 2-yard touchdown run for the Volunteers. Mississippi State winning on a field goal with 4 seconds left. Yes, it's an upset after Southern Miss beat Florida State a week ago. 26-23, an upset down in Hattiesburg this evening. We turn to Bino Cook and Lee Corso. And Bino, first of all, thoughts on the Florida State Clemson game. And Lee, it was an outstanding performance by Clemson on the road this evening. They didn't need a whole lot of trickery to win tonight.
Let me tell you, I was wrong. I thought Clemson was a good football team. They're a tremendous football team. They could play Florida State 5 times. And I really believe they beat Florida State 4 of the 5 times. I don't see anybody beating them, Bino. I see them going to the Florida Citrus Bowl undefeated.
Well, they could go to a bowl game on New Year's Day and play for the national title. They have that in the contract. However, everybody else is going to have to lose for them to win the national title. Nebraska's going to have to lose, Notre Dame, Miami, everybody. But that can happen. They play each other. Clemson has to be the only 11-0 team or 12-0 to win the national title.
Well, one of those teams will lose next week.
Oh, yeah, Michigan's going to lose. A lot of teams will lose. That's what Clemson has to hope, that 2 undefeated teams don't meet in the Orange Bowl or some other bowl, and then they don't have a shot at winning the national title. But they won it before.
Lee Corso, I think Kevin Kiley said it pretty well earlier this evening when he talked about Clemson's game plan.